right, ladies and gentlemen of the 118 scale, 3.75 inch, 4-inch modern action figure community. I'm back again with another video. And in this video, we're going to be discussing none other than Mr. Kenneth D. Rick, also known as Psychout. Psychout was born in San Francisco, California. He would study psychology at Berkeley. At some point, he joined the G.I. Joe team, where his primary MOS was PsyOps and his secondary MOS was social services. Now, when we think of his primary MOS as PsyOps, that could mean psychological ops, also psychological warfare. And if you think about that, that's kind of scary to think about. That entails with messing with the enemy's mind. So can you imagine for a second you being a troop or a soldier among troops, and to suddenly look around and see a bunch of ghosts and zombies or something around you? It's not real. It's just the other team is messing with your mind. That would be crazy. That would be horrible, actually. So moving right along, Psychout was released carded as a action figure Series 6 in 1987. He would later, in 1988, be recolored and re-released as Night Ops. He was discontinued in 1989. Also in 1988, the UK and Europe sold a Tiger Force version of Psychout. Psychout would later be retooled in 1991, and that was it for him up until the modern era, where he was re-released in 2013. He was also released by the figure subscription service in 2015. And around about 2018, the figure subscription service re-released him as a Tiger Force version. And that's the same version that the UK and Europe put out, but in a modern form. However, when they put the modern Tiger Force version out, they forgot to include on his figure stand Tiger Force, the words Tiger Force Psychout. So later on, once they realized this mistake, they mailed out to all those that bought the figure and didn't get the proper figure stand. They mailed out the figure stand that had the words Tiger Force Psychout on it to them. So if you were trying to acquire that particular figure in the aftermarket, if I was you, I would get in those DMs of whoever's selling that figure and see if they have that edition, because that could make or break the value of the figure. So, all right, without further ado, we're going to get a look at Psychout. Right now on the card. So what you have is him on card. You have a illustration of what he would look like in the cartoon. I don't think he actually ended up on any cartoons, but moving along. Anyway, it says here, Deceptive Warfare, codename Psychout. A real American hero. We love that. G.I. Joe logo at the top, exclusive G.I. Joe, GIJoeClub.com. Don't choke on any of this. And one thing I don't think I've ever spoke about is I like how the figure subscription service and the 25th anniversary went about creating or recreating the packaging that we got when we were kids. So let's turn it around. You can pause and read that if you would like. We'll give you a little bit more of an insight. And here is a larger version of the art on the front. It says Club Exclusive 3-1. All right, Hasbro logo. So without further ado, if you're a mint collector, look away. I don't want to trigger you or anything. So he's coming off card. So pretty much that guy was going to come off of the card anyway. You probably saw it in my last shot that it was loosening from around the glued seams. So let's look at his equipment, starting out right here with his figure stand. Get that to focus in. All right, codename Psychout. We've seen these before. Awesome. Next, we have his backpack. I don't think we've ever seen this backpack before. I could be wrong. Does it look like the one that Zartan had for his extra masks? Disguises. This one actually opens. Has a little bit of space inside. Looks like a miniature coffin, doesn't it? Real cool. I like that. Next, he has this thing that comes in two pieces. And it looks like this will attach in right there. And there you have that. So that's what it looks like. You know what this kind of reminds me of? It reminds me of that thing. Does anybody remember what it was called? The Ghostbusters would throw this out and it would pretty much vacuum seal a ghost. Not sure. But I guess this is what he uses to play with people's minds. I'm not sure. Next, he has these two little, I guess these are like dish. Like, you know what? I'm not even going to try to guess what those are. But you can see them, and I'm sure you know what they're called. I know what they're called. I just can't verbalize it right now. Words won't come to me. Awesome. Let's move right along. Lastly, we have his firearm here, his assault rifle. And this is the last piece of his equipment that he comes with. I like that they cast it in two different colors. So that's pretty cool. It actually looks like it looks like paint. It almost looked for a second like there was two different parts or three different parts to make this up, but no, it's painted on. But really cool nonetheless. I'm not complaining. Now for the moment we've been waiting for, let's get a look at Psychout. There you have him. I don't think this head sculpt's been used on anyone. He's got his antenna for his brain waves, and this is pretty much what he looks like. Very reminiscent of the original character or the original action figure from back in the day, probably done a little better. Awesome. Had to straighten his back up a little. So there's a complete 360 on him. See if we can give you another one. Awesome. I think he's done really well. And I was never actually really a fan of this figure back in the days. So like I said, I was never really a fan of him back in the days. I would see him in the store and I'd push him out of the way, carded, to get to some of the other figures. But I really like how he's done. Here he is before you, wearing all of his equipment. Let's do a quick 360 of him wearing all of his stuff. I think this is really nicely done. And just seeing him now, I really wish I would have picked him up as a kid. Ironically, I didn't have many G.I. Joes as a kid, but, like I said, I wasn't checking for him, so I probably was missing out. But anyway, with this being said, the grade I'm going to give him is an A. I'm definitely going to give him an A because he's done well. He's kept true to the original character, and he just looks really good. I don't see any paint apps that are off. I don't see anything that is wrong with the figure. He looks really good. So with that being said, I think I'm going to end this video right here. Thank you for watching my videos. I appreciate you all. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to put them down below. I'll get to them at my earliest convenience. Until the next one, peace.